anorexia. There's so many different names to it, but millions of Americans live with and hide eating disorders, even though these disorders can threaten their physical and mental health. Health reporter Lori Johnson joins us now to tell us what's at stake and how some people are breaking free. Here's Lori.
Doctors estimate almost 5% of teenage girls suffer from this problem. That's a lot. And the worst part is their families often have no idea. The longer a person has an eating disorder, the harder it is to stop. So for some people, their doctor can refer them to an eating disorder specialist in their hometown, and regular appointments with that person there in their hometown can do the job. But there are other people who are in so deep they really need to go to a treatment facility and stay there for a while, sort of like rehab.
For 15 years, McCall Dempsey appeared to be the picture of success, but she was hiding a dangerous eating disorder.
All the while, nobody knew that behind closed doors, I was really killing myself to try to find some comfort in finding perfection and shrinking my body into trying to be this perfect size.
Eating disorders are things like starving yourself, making yourself vomit after eating, abusing laxatives, and over-exercising. Dempsey did all of that and became addicted to diet pills.
I'll never forget the nights where I would lay on the floor just in cold sweats, and I remember looking in the mirror and I was just gray.
She finally decided she needed help and checked into Carolina House, a center for treating her illness. Executive Director Tammy Holcomb says among psychiatric illnesses, eating disorders are the most fatal.
We see a lot of young people, even as young as 14 or 16, who have heart attacks and serious heart problems where they have to have pacemakers put in.
These disorders can also lead to kidney and liver problems, hair loss, insomnia, and much more.
We're going to see a lot of problems with throat and with esophagus and with teeth. And that's because they bring the acid back up into their mouth. It causes damage to the teeth. Matter of fact, one of the first people to recognize bulimia is a dentist.
In addition to tooth damage, there are other warning signs, such as a preoccupation with weight.
Your whole world is consumed by food and body. It is all you can think of, and that's not living.
Other signals to watch for: going to the bathroom immediately after eating, large amounts of food missing, and excuses not to eat.
I would always go to dinner with my friends, but I would always tell my friends that I already ate, and I would tell my family that I ate with my friends.
Even though patients attempt to hide the problem, it's often family and friends who first recognize and recommend the need for treatment. Most people stay here about a month and a half. Residents are closely monitored to make sure they eat enough and help them keep it down.
When someone has been purging and vomiting up their food for a period of time, it's very hard to sit with food in their stomach. It's actually painful.
After the body heals, patients must recognize the root cause of their problem.
What the eating disorder often is for a lot of people is a way to have some control in their life because of other situations, be it life changes, family events, things like that. They feel like they lose control. So this feels like they can gain some sense of control by controlling what they eat, controlling what they don't eat.
Mental health professionals stay available around the clock to help patients learn appropriate ways to cope with life.
I don't have to be perfect anymore. So many people are going undiagnosed and untreated, and no one deserves to live a life like that.
Residents need to master new skills before they're ready to leave.
To them, it feels like I'm taking control away from them because I'm going to tell them, okay, this is what you need to eat. These are the portions you need to be eating. And they feel like, oh my gosh, you're taking my control. It's the only thing I have. So we're empowering them. I like to think of it like empowering them to learn what their body needs, learn the choices that they need to be making, and learning to really just take that back for themselves.
Most of all, they learn how to stop obsessing about food.
It was like I found a whole new me, and now I live every day in that awesome place.
Like many other mental conditions, people with eating disorders face the risk of relapse. The key here is learning to recognize those dangerous behaviors and hopefully correct them before losing control. Lori Johnson, CBN News.
I've been involved. One young man I remember, he had this disorder, and he just wouldn't eat, and he just got wasted and thinner and thinner and thinner. And it was just a tragedy. You did everything you could to help him. I did everything I could to encourage him, to help him and everything. But it was too late in his case by the time I got there. And you remember the singing group, the Carpenters? I thought they had a marvelous sound, but the girl,
Karen Carpenter. She had today, when you hear her music, you recognize her voice. It was very distinctive.
It's an incredible voice, but I mean, she starved herself to death.
So I think sometimes when you don't get help soon enough, serious help,
this
hard
can
to
be
turn
treated as a demonic possession thing. It is like a demon, and it needs to be rebuked and cast out. But these people need all kinds of attention. They need care. They need self-image. They need, our whole rehab program. It's not something you can just pat them on the back and say, well, hey, why don't you eat it? Say, I've got your nice steak. No way. That doesn't work
that way.
No.
I think getting in touch with that control issue is a big thing.
But, but young girls, particularly at that incredible age, don't have a self-image. They don't quite know what to do. And they look in a mirror and they see themselves as enormous. I mean, you look at them and they say, well, what an attractive young lady. They look at themselves and they see this fat thing and they just fight. I mean, it's just incredible. But it is demonic. It is an awful thing. And ladies and gentlemen, don't dismiss it, because there are just too many dead teenagers and young ladies who kill themselves with this. And it's not just girls, it's boys as well. But it's a horrible concept. And Laurie, I appreciate your story on that. And folks, if you have questions about eating disorders or other medical stories, you can talk to Laurie by using hashtag, quote, Ask Laurie on Twitter. Okay?
Well, up next.